tolak saya macam sepatutnya ada 6 orang. So kita short 2 orang sebenarnya. Tapi tak apa, kita teruskan dulu pelan-pelan. Baik, kita dah mula recording ya. Alright. So, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum lagi sekali dan selamat Hari Raya. Saya rasa belum terlambat lagi nak ucap selamat Hari Raya. Puteri semalam saya dah ucap selamat Hari Raya. Selamat Hari Raya Sarah, Nurin dengan Adeline. Maaf zahir dan batin. Setiap kali kelas saya akan bagi 2 link. Satu link untuk Google Meet. Link Google Meet ni sama je lah. Memang ini je lah link Google Meet dari semalam sampai insyaAllah next classes pun saya akan guna link yang sama. Satu. Yang link yang akan berubah ialah link untuk nota. Sebab nota tu kita akan guna semasa dalam kelas, dan as you are experiencing right now, nota-nota tu kamu boleh tulis direct dekat nota atau slide yang saya bagi tu. Jadi untuk menjawab soalan Nurin, tak perlu print nota. Link nota yang saya bagi ni, kamu make sure kamu jawab pada nota yang saya beri ni, atau kalau ada maklumat tambahan ke kamu nak tulis, kamu terus tulis pada slide tersebut. Dan at the end of this class, this particular app will email you a copy of all your notes, all of your answers. Kemudian dia akan bagi dalam bentuk Google Docs. So you will have a copy of whatever we are discussing today lah. So make sure every time saya letak prompt atau letak assignment kat situ, you have to fill in the blanks ke, you have to draw ke. Make sure that you completed the task. Sebab kalau kamu tak buat task tersebut, nanti bila app ni hantar nota, dia akan jadi slide yang blank lah. Macam tu ya. So hopefully as we go through the activity today, you will see how I use PEDEC during class. So baik, kita mula. Tisha pun baru masuk, tak apa. Tisha part yang ni dia dah biasa. Okay, so selamat berkenalan. Saya tak buka kamera sebab saya pun baru je selesai kelas dengan form 5 tadi. Tak lepas solat tak sempat buat apa. Terus bermula kelas dengan group form 4 pula. So selamat berkenalan. Nama saya Cikgu Nadrah. Saya dah ajar bio selama 12 tahun. Sekarang ni saya mengajar di Seksyen 9, tapi sebelum ni saya bertugas di Sekolah Sains Bagan Datuk dan Sekolah Agama Persekutuan Kajang. Sekolah first tu, Datuk Haji Muhammad Taib tu, saya bertugas 3 bulan, 4 bulan macam tu je. So saya tak adalah nak highlight sangat pengalaman saya di situ sebab terlalu sekejap. Tapi di Sekolah Sains Bagan Datuk dan di SMAP Kajang memang lama lah. So kita teruskan dulu. Before we start, I would like to conduct a quick survey. Untuk kelas hari ni, what type of device are you using? Kamu guna device yang mana satu? Can you drag the icon, the red dot towards the suitable device so that I know? Macam Puteri semalam dia kata dia guna 2 device kan. So I took notes of that. Untuk yang lain macam mana? Oh, pakai tablet Oh, sebab TKC semua pakai ni ya, iPad Saya lupa pula pasukan iPad ni. Okay, that is good. That is a good indication. Alright. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your responses. Okay, one more. Oh, ada yang pakai laptop ke? Pakai laptop. Okay, good. Noted. Ada seorang pakai laptop. Alright, noted. Alright, thank you. Oh, ada yang pakai phone ke terbawa? Aduh. So, if you are using 2 devices, what is the biggest device that you have between the 2 device? Katalah kamu guna tablet dengan iPad dengan desktop. So desktop is the bigger one lah. Ataupun kamu guna iPad dengan laptop. Okay. Oh, okay. which device is the biggest one lah. Okay, alright. Thank you so much for your responses. Okay, semalam kita discuss chapter 1. Basically kita discuss mengenai equipments in the lab, and also majority of the time yesterday we practice how to plot graph, how to draw table based on the data. Okay. Hari ni kita nak tengok kepada cell structure and function, and mind you, I don't go through all of the subtopics. Saya tak go through semua subtopik kerana as we go through all subtopics, consecutive subtopics after this, we will discuss the components of the cells in detail. Dalam cell structure and function, we will mainly discuss number one, what are the cellular components inside the animal cell and plant cell. And then these animal cells and plant cell undergo specialization and combine with each other to form tissue. And then different types of tissue will combine together to produce atau to form specific organ. And these specific organs conduct different functions to work together in a system. For example, digestive system. Stomach kerja dia lain, esophagus kerja dia lain, intestine kerja dia lain. Tapi the main objective is still the same, to conduct digestion of food. And the different types of system combine together to form one organism lah. So for tissues kita akan sentuh basically mengenai specialization. For system, organ, various physiological process, bukan physiological process pun, just menamakan saja various physiological system tu, saya tak sentuh mendalam hari ini, because each subsequent chapters after this, we will discuss each physiological process further. Katalah kita nak discuss pasal digestion, so kita akan discuss lagi pasal digestive system. So kita akan jumpa lagi pasal organ perut, stomach, intestine and so on and so forth. So I prefer to discuss in detail about different types of organ system when we are going to that particular chapter. So that it will make more sense for you. Kalau kita pergi in depth sekarang, kalau kita discuss sekarang, dia akan jadi tak puas nak cerita sebab dia tak in detail. Okay? So, pertama sekali ialah for this particular slide, can you draw and label animal cell? Make sure that your drawing has these 4 cellular components. Make sure that your cell have these 4 components. Gunakan tool pencil. Gunakan tool pencil and then use the sizer. Dia ada satu function dekat tepi sebelah kiri tu, sizer untuk adjust how fine atau how thick your pencil tip is. Okay. So tadi tu dah cuba lukis. So boleh lukis. Kenapa 4 components ni yang saya highlight? Sebab these 4 components are the components that can be observed under light microscope. Okay, under light microscope. Ini 4 komponen yang kita boleh nampak bila kita observe and cheek cell. Selalu kita buat eksperimen ni kita observe cheek cell. So draw an animal cell that have these 4 components. It's okay kalau dia tidak berbentuk bulat dengan sempurna. If it's not a perfect circle, it's okay. Memang animal cell pun irregular shape. And I understand it is not easy for you to draw. Yelah baru nak mula kan? Okay, I can see your progress. Very good. Sekarang ni, yang kita lukis ni adalah diagram. So basically teknik ni kita belajar dalam chapter 1. So bila kita lukis diagram, kita lukis garis. Okay, we draw a line drawing. Line drawing, tak ada shadow-shadow, tak ada. Okay, hanya nukleus saja yang kita akan warnakan dalamnya, sebab dalam nukleus tu kita nampak a lot of chromosomes inside it. That's why we colour, most of the time kita colour tu slightly darker in colour. But inside the nucleus, we can find another structure. That's why you have to colour, ya. So, untuk nucleus, tak perlu lukis macam saya tengok yang sel yang warna pink ni, dia punya nucleus tu dah, nak kata apa ya, dia punya nucleus tu macam nak buat 3D version je, kita buat 2D saja sebab kita draw a diagram. Okay, so kita draw a diagram. Okay, macam yang Puteri dengan Aisyah lukis ni is a good example. Cuma yelah sebab kita pakai paddock ni ada colour-colour kan. So I give you I let you do the colour-colour thing. If not, kita memang pakai pensel dan kita warnakan dengan pensel je lah. Memang warna dia sama je hitam. Tapi these are two good examples. Dalam Google Meet sekarang saya sedang pamerkan two good examples of diagram drawing. Memang nukleus saja yang kita colour ya. The rest dalam dia cytoplasm kita tak colour sebab kita tak colour sebab ini adalah diagram. Kita just do a line drawing, tak ada shadow, and then kita label. Oh, I can also okay. Terkejut saya Nurin sebab saya ingatkan kamu buat smiley. Sebab ada garis-garis macam kening mata sepet kat atas tu. Okay, make sure you label. Use the line function to make the lines. Atau if you are using Apple Pencil ke stylus ke, boleh proceed. Pakai itulah. Pakai freehand je lah label. Okay, kita hanya lukis 4 komponen yang saya nyatakan tu saja. Okay, kenapa? Sebab ini adalah lukisan untuk observation under light microscope. Organel lain macam rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus dan sebagainya can only be observed if we use electron microscope ataupun mikroskop yang lebih kuasa tinggi lah. Tapi light microscope memang tak nampak lah organel lain tu. Kalau nak nampak pun nanti dekat plant cell kita boleh nampak chloroplast. Itu pun sebab kita colorize. Okay, very good. Saya dah nampak. You have label. Okay, good. Okay, Sarah dah siap. Okay, good Sarah. Nucleus betul, nucleolus betul, cytoplasm ada, plasma membrane pun ada. Satu lagi yang perhaps that we can also include in our labeling, saya tak nyatakan kat sini but you can include it if you want, is nucleus membrane. The membrane of the nucleus kan. So you can also include that in your labeling. Okay, good. Okay, nanti yang ni kan, okay, for this one, yang saya tengah tunjukkan dalam Google Meet sekarang, ada macam ni ya, agak merisaukan untuk saya if you draw two lines like that because plasma membrane kita lukis hanya satu line sahaja. Okay, yang saya tengah pamer kat Google Meet ni, please take note, your drawing sempadan tu kita hanya draw satu line saja. Usually when there is two lines, we want to indicate the presence of cell wall. Since this is an animal cell, tak ada cell wall. Okay, I give you a personal feedback so that you can see it later. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Okay, kita dah lukis animal cell. Sekarang kita nak lukis plant cell. Cytoplasm tak payah kan? Diagram. Alright, next one. Uh, okay, now draw and label plant cell with the 5 components listed on the left side of the screen. Okay, make sure that your plant cell have all 5 components listed on the left side of the screen. Okay, I agree with you, Sarah. I like the way you label cell wall and then plasma membrane inside. Cytoplasm saya setuju. Nucleolus. Nucleolus dengan nucleus tu kena tukar kot position dia. Okay. Good. Pandai dia. Alright. Begitu juga dengan Adeline. Okay, I agreed with the way you draw the cell wall. Dekat sini baru kita buat 2 line ya. Cell wall, position cell wall, cara kamu label plasma membrane, very good. Cytoplasm, nucleus, nucleolus. Yes, very good. Okay ya. Okay. Oh, I understand why you colour like that because you want to indicate the presence of cell wall ke? Teruskan, teruskan. Uh, tak apa untuk hari ni tak ada masalah. Cuma nanti bila kita draw diagram, proper diagram, kita memang tak ada colour-colour sebenarnya ya. Dekat nukleus saja yang kita colour because it is packed full with chromosome. So memang dia nampak hitam gelap sebab dia terlalu padat kromosom dalam tu. Kromosom ni kita banyak guna istilah kromosom ni bila kita discuss cell division kan. Okay. Okay, so saya ambil beberapa example. Saya okay, beberapa example dan saya pamerkan dalam Google Meet ya. So you can refer to the Google Meet screen. Okay. So these two from Sarah and Adeline, these are two good examples of labeling and drawing. Tak apa, kalau line tu tak bersambung, dia memang sepatutnya line tu bersambung, tapi saya faham it is not easy to draw online. So cell wall, position cell wall, kedua-duanya betul. Position plasma membrane, the way you label it very good. Nucleus and nucleolus, I also agree with you, tak ada masalah. Okay, now let's go. Sekejap ya. Okay, satu je lagi nak label. Okay, teruskan. Okay, yang ni pun lagi satu lagi nak label ya. So, untuk sebagaimana tiga contoh yang saya sedang pamerkan dalam Google Meet ni buat, ketiga-tiganya melukis the cell wall dengan plasma membrane dengan betul. We draw two lines to indicate the outer line as cell wall, the inner line is plasma membrane. Okay, now you have drawn the structure of cell, animal cell and plant cell. Let's go a bit further. Can you list out the similarities and the differences between animal cell and plant cell? Tempat yang bertindih antara bulatan hijau dengan bulatan oranye tu adalah similarities, and then similarities tu listkan dalam tempat yang bertindih tu. This is a Venn diagram kan. I hope you know how it works. Sekejap similarities listkan dekat tempat yang bulatan bertindih di tengah-tengah tu, differences atas dengan bawah lah. So green circle represents plant cell, orange circle represents animal cell. Okay, I can see your answers already. Dalam Google Meet ni, kalau kamu pening, nampak bertindih, sebab itu adalah the combination of all 5 answers ya. Nanti kita tengok satu-satu. So let's take a look at the similarities first. Banyak betul similarities kan. Okay, I can see your answer. Sebab dah lama sangat guna PDAC ni kan, saya boleh nampak kamu punya answer. Okay, both cells ada nucleus, ada cytoplasm, ada plasma membrane. Ada apa lagi kat situ? Mitochondrion, yes, ada Golgi apparatus, good. Endoplasmic reticulum and also one more, apa tu? Ribosome, yes, betul. Okay, good. Both cells ada nucleus, cytoplasm, plasma membrane, Golgi apparatus, mitochondrion, endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. Very good. The difference is, saya nampak tulisan besar kat situ, one of the earliest submission. Dia kata, have cell wall, have chloroplast, fixed shape, large vacuole, and large vacuole stores carbohydrate. Okay, I agree because they have chloroplast. So the product of photosynthesis is in the form of starch, stored in the starch, and there's no centriole. Very good. Okay, so plant cell ada chloroplast, animal cell does not have chloroplast. Plant cell have cell wall, animal cell does not have cell wall. However, animal cell have centriole. Yes, animal cell have centriole, but plant cell does not have centriole. And then because of the presence of cell wall, plant cell has a fixed shape. Animal cell does not have a cell wall. Therefore, they don't have a fixed shape. Bagus, saya setuju. Okay, kalau animals tadi plant cell store carbohydrate in the form of starch. Animal cell store carbohydrate in the form of start dengan huruf G, in the form of sikit lagi glycogen. Yes. Betul, syabas. Okay. Okay, good. And finally has central. Central sudah ada. Alright, very good everyone. Good job. Okay. So, anak-anak, this is how we write differences. This is how we write differences when we make structural differences. Kalau kita buat perbezaan berdasarkan struktur, it is okay for us to say animal cell does not have this, plant cell have this, plant cell does not have this, animal cell have this. But if you are making comparison differences in terms of processes, katalah macam uh, yalah, plant cell conduct photosynthesis because you want to differentiate in terms of processes kan. Plant cell conduct photosynthesis, animal cell does not conduct photosynthesis. Comparison macam tu tak boleh. Instead kita kata plant cells conduct photosynthesis and respiration. Animal cell can only conduct respiration. Macam tu ya. Kita tak boleh compare macam apa gaya compare tu tak boleh sama dengan structural dengan processes. Usually for processes kita bagi alternative statement lah macam tu. Okay, good. Wow, there is so many differences ya. And I appreciate that you make your comparisons in a nak kata apa similar feature. For example, dekat plant cell the first one you write fixed shape. Animal cell no fixed shape. Bagus. Maknanya ada apa turutan dia tu samalah. Alright. So differences sudah. Now let's take a look at this one. Based on your observation, can you name all of the cellular components that can be found in an animal cell? Can you name all of the cellular components in an animal cell? let's take a look at our answers. Okay, we can observe over there. Ada nucleus, very good. Dia start dari center. Okay, ada nucleus, ada mitochondrion, ada Golgi apparatus, ada centriole. Nampak centriole kat situ? Ada sebab ini adalah cellular components, so you can also include plasma membrane. Kalau soalan ni tanya organelles in an animal cell, plasma membrane tak boleh masuk lah. Tapi sebab dia kata cellular component, so boleh masuk plasma membrane. Lysosome, rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is okay for you to write RER dalam ni, tapi since it is not a standard acronym, bila kita nak tulis untuk exam nanti, janganlah tulis RER ya, kena tulis penuh rough endoplasmic reticulum. Ini sebab for notes purposes tak apalah. Okay, so rough endoplasmic reticulum, good. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum, I see there. If you write nucleus and nucleolus separately, also can. Ribosomes and also cytoplasm, because it is a part of cellular component. So it can be more than 9 lah. Okay, it can be more than 9. Okay, ada yang tengah isi, tak apa, teruskan isi. Okay, I'm changing this notes as a student pace note. Untuk mereka yang dah siap, okay, macam Nurin dah siap, Aisyah, Batrisha dah siap, you can move on to slide 9. Kamu boleh proceed to slide 9 and start filling up cellular components in a plant cell pula ya. Aisyah, Batrisha dah siap, Nurin dah siap, Putri pun dah siap, boleh move on. Okay, siapa yang dah siap tu boleh move on towards slide 9. Sementara tu saya nak check in terms of spelling ya. Saya check in terms of spelling. Alright, good. Okay. Yes, I appreciate that you write this fully. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum. Oh, this one mitochondrion, salah eja Sekejap. Mitochondrion. Okay. Right. Okay. This one also. Mitochondrion ya, mitochondrion. Okay, the spelling of mitochondrion is MITOCHONDRION. Okay. Okay. Usually for Golgi apparatus, the G is capital letter. Tapi tak apalah, itu minor saja, tak ada masalah ya. Okay, usually for Golgi apparatus, the G is a capital letter. Yang lain tak ada masalah. Alright. So let's take a look at the next one, slide 9. Okay, let's take a look at the next one, slide 9. Okay, Golgi apparatus, good. Dia terus buat Golgi apparatus, G is capital, pandai. Okay, good. Yang paling obvious, of course lah, cell wall. Okay, you start from the outside. Okay, and going towards the inside. Okay lah, daripada outside kita jumpa cell wall, followed by plasma membrane, mitochondrion, chloroplast, yang hijau tu chloroplast, and then we can see there Golgi apparatus, yang warna purple purple pinkish color tu, okay, that is the Golgi apparatus. The red one is rough endoplasmic reticulum. The light purple one is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The watery bubble at the center there is the vacuole. Nucleus, obviously ada nucleus, and also nucleolus. And bolehlah, I I can accept the presence of ribosome. Bolehlah nampak sebab rough endoplasmic reticulum ada kan. So rough endoplasmic reticulum, the name is because the surface looks rough. Sebab surface dia nampak kasar because of the presence of attached ribosomes. Okay. So dalam in the previous discussion, kita banyak discuss cellular components menggunakan gambar-gambar yang dilukis. Now, I'm going to show you under the microscope how it looks like. So these are 4 different cellular components. Can you name them? Can you name each one? Apakah nama untuk setiap satu cellular components tu? Ada 4. Can you name each one? This is observation under electron microscope. So kita nampak lebih detail lah. Okay, good. The first one is nucleus, and inside there is the nucleolus. The second one is Golgi apparatus. Yang warna orange tu Golgi apparatus. Oh, yang purple tu tak boleh nak ni ya. Okay. Tak apa. Mitochondrion. Yes. Yang warna pink tu adalah mitochondrion. Kita nampak there are 2 layers. Nanti kita tengok kalau dekat sebab ada yang tulis chloroplast ya. Nanti kita tengok kalau chloroplast under microscope rupa macam mana. Yes, the purple one is centriole. Very good. Okay, yang garis pink tu mitochondrion. Tak boleh tulis mitochondria ya sebab mitochondria is plural form. So in the picture, we can only see one mitochondrion. So we'll write mitochondrion. Okay. Centriole. Okay, centriole. Alright. Mari kita tengok progress semua orang. Okay ke tak? Okay. Oh, ada yang label bahagian atas, ada yang label bahagian bawah ya. Okay. Now, kita teruskan kepada slide seterusnya. Okay. Now, can you identify these 4 components pula? So, the second picture top from the left, the second picture on top, they refer to the red line at the middle. Refer to the red line at the middle. Ya, inilah chloroplast. Beza sikit kan dengan mitochondrion tadi. Okay, chloroplast. Yes, very good. Siap ada garis lagi. Ya Allah, I really appreciate the way you label ya. Bagus. Siap ada garis lagi. Tisha buat garis. Okay, good. Okay, good. Teruskan. Siap buat garis lagi. Okay, for the picture bottom left, it refers to 2 organelles. Warna biru tu 1 organel, warna hijau tu lagi 1 organel. Okay, dan yang warna biru tu, cuba tengok dekat bahagian garis-garis tu, dia menggerutu. The surface is a bit rough. Ada biji-biji warna hitam. Manakala the green one is smooth. The lines are smooth. Tak ada biji-biji hitam. So what do you think? What is the green organelle? What is the blue organelle? Ada yang dah nampak. Yes, very good. The blue one is rough endoplasmic reticulum. The green one is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And at the bottom right tu is the vacuole. Okay, good. Okay, mari saya tengok satu persatu. Adakah semua dah berjaya label? Alright. Oh, dia siap highlight lagi. Yes. Good use of highlight tool. Bagus. I appreciate your adaptability. Macam-macam tools diguna ya. Okay, semua orang dah label. Good. Okay, now kita dah cover the basics. Now I want to show you dalam konteks exam macam mana kita tanya content dua subtopik ni ya. Dalam konteks exam macam mana kita akan tanya. Saya sebagai examiner saya akan tanya macam mana. Okay, let's take a look at the first one. So for this particular slide, dia guna text function. So you can immediately type. Tak payah pilih tools ya. Kamu just type. So diagram 1.1, this particular diagram shows the structure of a plant cell. Can you name organelle W and X? Bila name, dia adalah nama yang spesifik. Kalau state, mungkin nama tu tak spesifik. Tapi name, dia minta nama spesifik. What is W? What is X? Okay, remember X dia hanya label satu organel saja. So kita tulis singular form ke plural form. Kena careful sikit kat situ ya. X tu dia label satu benda je. So should we use singular form or plural form? Okay, good. So W is Golgi apparatus and X is mitochondrion. Okay, berhati-hati label tu W dengan X tu. Alright, good. Now, biasanya soalan paper 2, ini adalah soalan paper 2 bahagian A, structure. Jawapan dia ialah jawapan ayat-ayat pendek atau jawapan menamakan macam ni lah. It started with naming. After naming, dia akan naik satu lagi level soalan dia stating the function pula. So stating the function also is a level where we write short sentences. So you have identified organelle W. Can you reflect back on your learning and remember the two functions of organelle W? Apakah the two functions of organelle W? So when we talk about function, dia mesti ada specific verb yang digunakan. Cuba cari dulu. Apakah fungsi organelle W? Function W saja ya sayang. So give two different verbs to state two function. Kita nak function W saja ya, function W. So okay. Sekarang ni dalam chapter 2 kita kata function to process, modify, pack and transport chemicals. So ada 3 verb kat situ modify, packing and transporting. Modifying, packing and transporting. So each verb represents different functions. Okay, modify tu kira satu, packing tu kira lagi satu, yang kedua, transporting tu kira yang ketiga. Sekarang ni, I think that most of you have already learned about production of extracellular enzyme. So mungkin kamu, mungkin like in the future, you didn't remember function of Golgi dekat chapter 2, tapi you remember the function of Golgi apparatus in chapter 4, chapter 5. So you say pack, modify and processes primary protein atau polypeptide to produce specific enzyme. Tak ada masalah masih lagi betul. Okay, so we only focus on the function of Golgi apparatus. Full fungsi X tu kita tak payah nyatakan Okay, so a quick recap about production of extracellular enzyme. We know that ribosome synthesize protein. However, the protein is not in a specific shape. The protein is like a pearl necklace, bulat in a very long chain, no specific shape. So when ribosome has already synthesized the protein will be transported by rough endoplasmic reticulum to the Golgi apparatus. In the Golgi apparatus, the long chain protein will be modified, will be modified where the shape changes to have a specific shape. Misalnya tadi rantai panjang, sekarang dia dah jadi bulat. Jadilah bila jadi bulat barulah dia protein tu becomes a specific enzyme. So the next step is for the Golgi apparatus to transport the enzyme to the plasma membrane. That is why there are 3 functions of Golgi apparatus: modify, packing and transporting. Okay, to target spots pun boleh. So macam kenapa target spots? For example, senang cerita pasal masa kita belajar enzim lah. So if the vesicle from Golgi apparatus stays inside the cell, usually it is because it will form a specific organelle. Sebagai contoh, lysosom. Kalau enzyme atau the chemicals modified by Golgi apparatus is meant to be excreted out, so Golgi apparatus will pack the chemical substance into a secretory vesicle to send the modified chemicals to the plasma membrane so that it can be secreted out. Dalam bahasa Melayu dia kita boleh rembeskan keluar. Okay, sedikit recap. Nanti kita akan balik kepada chapter ni. Kalau tak ingat pun tak apa, jangan pening-pening ya. Okay. Now let's take a look at the next question. Sama juga. Can you name the type of cell X? Can you name the type of cell X? Okay, good. Siap, ada yang tulis X animal cell, Y plant cell. Okay, saya nak bagi soalan tambahan kat sini ya. Sekejap. Dah habis type Okay, dah habis jawab Okay, sekarang saya nak bagi soalan tambahan. Okay, now this particular slide is in a draw function. Abaikan soalan name the type of cell X tu. On the same slide, on the same diagram, can you label, can you label rough endoplasmic reticulum on cell X and cell Y? On this same diagram, can you label rough endoplasmic reticulum on both cells? Can you identify kat mana satu rough endoplasmic reticulum? Bagus. Gunakan line function. Tu tebal tu kena adjust sikit size dia ya. Okay, can you identify? Okay, I can see all of your lines. Good. Okay, I can see your indication, your labeling, where we can find rough endoplasmic reticulum on both cells. Good. Okay, I understand. I understand your labeling. Thank you. Okay. So, saya setuju. We can find rough endoplasmic reticulum right after nucleus. Betul-betul selepas nucleus, kita akan jumpa rough endoplasmic reticulum. This positioning is important because the genetic information inside the nucleus will be transported to the rough endoplasmic reticulum sebab dekat situ ada ribosom for the production or synthesis of enzyme or protein. So, this is related to chapter, saya rasa chapter 5. Chapter 5 pasal enzyme tu ya. Alright. So let's take a look at the next slide sebab all of you have already labelled. Can you state one similarity and one difference on cell X and cell Y? Bagi satu similarity, satu differences. I like the way you start your answer, very good. Bila similarity, kita kena sebut both apa-apa-apa-apa. Okay, good. Good approach in addressing similarities. Okay, bila similarity je kita cakap both. Kalau kita compare lebih dari dua, kita kata all have. Tapi sebab kita compare dua je, kita kata both have. Okay, both cell X and cell Y ada mitochondria, ada plasma membrane, ada nucleus. Pilih satu saja ya, tak payah terlibat banyak sebab markah dia satu untuk similarity, satu untuk difference saja. Oh, okay. Ada yang compare dari segi shape. Okay, good. Cell X does not have a cell wall, while cell Y have a cell wall. Cell Y. Tersasul pula. Cell Y have kan? Cell wall have. Cell wall. Cell Y have cell wall. You boleh tersasul di situ. Cell Y have cell wall. Cell Y cell wall. Cell Y. Okay, tak apa. Teruskan. Boleh compare dari segi shape? Yes, because Y ada cell wall. So, it has a fixed shape. X does not have a cell wall. So, it does not have a fixed shape. Okay. Dapat bagi satu difference, satu similarity pun cukup. Okay. Jangan tambah-tambah. Ikut bilangan markah. Bilangan markah dia 2 dan dia minta satu similarity, satu difference. So if you state X ada apa, kedua-dua X ada apa, Y ada apa, satu markah. X ada apa, manakala Y ada apa. Penuh lengkap macam tu, baru dapat lagi satu markah. That is how we approach differences. Question yang tanya differences. Okay, thank you so much. Very good. All of you got 2 marks. Let's take a look at this one. So, explain the function of organelle Q. Explain the function of organelle Q. Macam mana nak dapat 2 markah kat sini? Explain. By explaining the function of organelle Q. Okay, cuba dulu. Nanti saya bagi idea. Saya tolong mantapkan lagi. Okay, tadi dah kenal organelle Q. Tak ada. Hanya identify cell. Tapi boleh tahu kan organelle Q tu apa? So, when the question give us unknowns, macam cell X, cell Y, organelle Q, it is a good routine or it is a good introduction if you give the unknowns a specific name. For example, we know that organelle Q is chloroplast. Yes, macam Tisha tulis tu ya. Tisha tulis dia mulakan dulu Q is chloroplast. Tak semestinya dapat markah, tapi it is a good introduction when we give a specific name to the unknown of the question. The unknowns of the question. X, Y, P, Q, R, S, T. Kita habaq mai siap-siap. P ni apa nama dia? Q ni apa nama dia? Okay, good. Okay. Good. Teruskan. Okay, good. Bila kita explain function of a certain structure, biasanya kita akan mulakan dengan, okay, soalan tu adakah dia nyatakan structure tu sebagai unknown? Dia labelkan sebagai PQRS. So the first step ialah we give a name to the unknown structure, number 1. Number 2, bila kita nak explain function of a certain structure, kita bagi tahu dulu what is the specific feature of the structure. Saya suka apa yang Nurin dan Adlin tulis ni. I really like the way you answer this. You started off with what is the specific feature of organelle Q, which is it contains chlorophyll. Cuma ejaan Adlin nanti betulkan ejaan chlorophyll tu ya. Okay, good. So you first tell the reader that the specific feature of organelle Q is it has a chlorophyll. Barulah lepas tu kita cerita function dia ialah absorb sunlight to conduct photosynthesis. Observe sunlight and convert it into to become chemical energy. Okay. So, bila kita nak explain function, kita kena bagi tahu dulu apakah ciri struktur tersebut. Ciri kloroplast seada klorofil. 1. Nombor 2, sebab ada klorofil lah, dia boleh absorb sunlight. Markah kedua. Markah ketiga, convert it to chemical energy. Markah keempat, point keempat, nama proses dia photosynthesis. Okay, good. Soalan yang sama, dia boleh tanya sampai 3 atau 4 markah. Okay, good. Thank you so much, girls. Kita pergi ke soalan seterusnya pula. Explain why palisade mesophyll tissue have a lot of organelle P. Explain why palisade mesophyll tissue have a lot of organelle P. Palisade mesophyll tissue is a type of tissue that can be found in the leaf. Specifically, in the layers of tissues inside a leaf, bila kita tengok cross section of the leaf, the second layer is palisade mesophyll. Okay. Kenapa palisade mesofil ada banyak organ api?
Excuse me teacher, bukan a lot of organelle Q
Kejap. Saya salah baca. Ya, betul-betul. Organelle Q. Sorry. Oh, saya tukar soalan ni. Sorry girls. Saya rephrase balik soalan. Saya tukar ya. Saya rephrase balik soalan. Bukan palisade mesofil ya. Explain why flight muscle cell. Explain why flight muscle cell have a lot of organelle P. Organelle P tu betul. Organelle Q kita dah tanya tadi kan. Saya tulis balik ya. Saya minta maaf saya salah type. Okay. Sekejap ya. Saya tulis soalan betul dekat Google Meet ya. Explain why flight muscle cell have a lot of organelle P. Okay, explain why flight muscle cell have a lot of organelle P. Organelle Q kita dah tanya kat soalan sebelumnya. Allah Akbar. Saya salah salin ya. Sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you so much. So flight muscle cell ya. Okay, flight muscle cell. Yang kita jumpa dalam badan burung. Okay. Kenapa flight muscle cell ada banyak organelle P? So as I mentioned before, we start with naming the unknown. Organelle P tu apa? Kan? Lepas tu teruskan. We name the unknown first. Okay, very good. Okay, I can see you are on the right track. Okay, anak-anak, bila dia kata a lot of organelle P, a lot of mitochondria, jadi whatever function yang mitochondria, whatever substance yang mitochondria produce, kita kena cakap a lot juga. Sebab bilangan mitochondria dia banyak, so whatever produced by the mitochondria is also banyak. So for example, you mentioned here, flat muscle cell contains a lot of mitochondria because it produces a lot of energy. Okay, kamu sebut for muscle movement. Belum spesifik lagi sayangku. Kita cakap flight muscle kan? So what type of movement we are talking about? What type of movement we are talking about? Kalau flight muscle, kalau nak spesifik lagi lah. Basically, markah dia 2 kan? Basically dah dapat dah 2. Okay, produces a lot of energy to enable movement. Flight. Pandai. Pandai Nurin. Oh ada dah. Enable flight. Okay, atau to enable betul, to enable flight. Macam berulang kan? Tapi tak berulang sebab the first one we talk about the name of the muscle, flight muscle cell. So itu enable flight atau sebenarnya when the muscle contract enable when the muscle move, when the muscle move, it enables the downward movement of the wings. Saya tak adalah minta sampai macam level macam tu sebab kamu belum belajar lagi locomotion of animals somewhere towards the end of form 4 punya topik. Tapi bila kamu dah belajar chapter locomotion tu, you can add that information to your answer. Okay, sebab kita dah memang belajar nanti, kita akan belajar when there is a lot of energy, flight muscle cell can contract and pulling the wings downward, making the downward movement of the wings. So itu kita belajar towards the end, tapi tak apa. Sekarang ni kalau tak sebut pun tak apa sebab tak belajar lagi. So what to enable flight movement, macam Puteri sebut, to enable flight movement. Macam Tisha pun sebut. Okay, that is good enough. Tak apa. Sebab belum belajar lagi. Sorry. Okay. Alright, anak-anak. Okay, last question for the day. Last summary of the day is in this particular chapter yang totally different, yang susah, content dia jarang atau sikit-sikit je jumpa pada chapter yang lain ialah for this one. The differences between amoeba and paramecium. Can you complete the table? This particular picture on the left is amoeba and on the right is paramecium. So based on what you can see here, hopefully it can help you to complete this particular table. Yeah. Okay, very good. Saya tengok dekat situ number of nucleus tak boleh nak tak sure ya. So kalau tengok dekat situ uh, kejap, let me draw. Wait I draw. Where is it? Hmm. Where is it? Uh, okay, saya draw sikit. Uh, Okay, pada Google Meet sekarang saya buka saya punya screen as a student like you. Okay, saya nak tunjukkan dekat mana nucleus ya. So, sekejap. I use a red color. Okay, so this one is the nucleus. This one is the nucleus and this one also is a nucleus. Okay, now there is a small circle inside here. This is also nucleus. So to answer this particular row, number of nucleus, for paramecium, it has 2 nucleus. Amoeba only have 1 nucleus. And then in terms of shape, okay, how do we compare the shape of paramecium versus the shape of amoeba? Cuba tengok. Apa dia ada satu term yang selalu kita guna bila kita nak uh, explain the shape of paramecium. Kita kata rupa dia macam slipper, kan? So usually paramecium we say uh, shape slipper like shape like a slipper. Whereas for amoeba it has an irregular shape. Okay, constantly changing shape pun boleh. Okay, okay, slipper-like shape. Okay, untuk movement saya setuju. Amoeba move by extending pseudopodium. When it extends its pseudopodium, the cytoplasm follow. Cytoplasm liquid di dalam badan amoeba tu akan follow ke mana pseudopodia tu extend. So sebab macam itulah cara amoeba move forward. Manakala paramecium uses the beats of cilia, the beating of cilia, kan, dayungan daripada cilia. Okay, I agree with you, very good. Okay, now let's take a look at the next row. Body shape tadi. I should have done this like this. Okay, body shape tadi, irregular shape for amoeba. Slipper atau rod susah sikit. Biasanya rod kita guna untuk describe bakteria. Saya tak kata salah, tapi rod kita reserve untuk describe bakteria sebab rod like shape tu kita guna kat situ ya. Okay, and then is enough. It is bukan enough nak kata. Kalau kamu sebut feeding type for amoeba is phagocytosis pun okay dah. Tapi when you describe like this, it is better. Very good. Using pseudopodium to trap food and undergo phagocytosis. And for paramecium, the food sorry. Sepatutnya saya share this step. Okay, dekat Google Meet sekarang saya tengah tunjukkan satu sampel answer ya. So feeding type psyllium beads will transfer food particles into oral groove. Okay, reproduction amoeba asexual reproduction through binary fission. But paramecium when it is in when it is in danger, biasanya dia akan buat sexual reproduction. Nama proses tu ialah conjugation. Okay, under unfavorable. Itu beza dia. Kalau amoeba, kalau dalam unfavorable condition, dia akan buat spore. Tapi paramecium in unfavorable condition, dia akan buat conjugation. Itu in terms of reproduction. Hmm, ada lagi tak? Okey, tak ada. Satu lagi ialah another important terms atau proses yang kita belajar bila kita observe amoeba dengan paramecium ni ialah the function of contractile vacuole. Okay, contractile vacuole. So both have contractile vacuole where excess water will diffuse into the vacuole. When the vacuole is full, the vacuole will go towards the plasma membrane and contract to expel water out of the amoeba or paramecium. So anak-anak, it's already 6 o'clock. We have come towards the end of chapter 2. Saya ingin tegaskan sekali lagi, untuk chapter 2 saya hanya ambil subtopik-subtopik yang tidak atau jarang dibincangkan dalam subtopik seterusnya. For physiological system, physiological processes macam digestion, respiration apa semua tu, the subsequent chapters we will go into it deeper compared to this particular chapter. Sebab tu saya tak sentuh ya. Saya terus bagi soalan macam mana nak apply pengetahuan yang kita belajar dalam subtopik ini dalam konteks soalan. So we have come to the end of our class today. Before we end our class, I would like to have your feedback. How do you reflect on today's activities? What did you like during this lesson? What part did you like? What part that you didn't like? What was easy for you? Which activity is easy for you? And which activity atau subtopic is hard for you? Okay, can you give me a bit of a feedback so that kalau ada yang dekat what was hard tu, next class saya akan address the issue lah. Okay, there's so many positive feedback. Thank you so much. Yes, when you say here, I get to learn how to answer such structured questions. This is how I approach my classes. Since most of our classes is revision classes, so saya hanya sentuh the subtopic a little bit and we delve into questions. Tapi jangan risau, saya susun questions tersebut ikut level. So kita sentiasa start dengan identifying structures dulu, what is the name of the structure, what is the function, and then baru kita pergi ke soalan yang lebih high level lah. So hopefully it helps you to give a sort of context macam mana sebab student selalu cakap dengan saya banyak benda nak hafal dengan bio ni, tapi rupanya yang saya jawab tu soalan minta lain, saya jawab lain. So I would like to address that particular issue lah. Okay, so thank you so much for your feedback. I will leave this PDEC on until 8 PM. 8 PM nanti baru saya akan tutup PDEC ni. In case kalau kamu nak tambah apa-apalah what was hard. Especially when you reflect back on your learning, kotlah kamu teringat lepas ni chapter 3 kan. Dekat chapter 3 ni apa yang kamu rasa susah? You can write in what was hard so that I will address the issue next time kita ada kelas. Ingat balik dekat chapter 3 apa yang susah untuk kamu. So kamu tulis dekat what was hard, I will address it during the next class. So take your time to give the feedback. Saya akan tutup PDEC ni pukul 9 malam ni lah. So pukul 9 nanti baru kamu akan dapat nota ya. Bila kamu ingat balik apa yang susah tu, kamu tulis dekat what was hard, especially for chapter 3. Sebab chapter 3 ni dia memang totally new kan. So on that note, I would like to end our class today. Thank you so much everyone for coming. Thank you for your attention. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you so much, teacher.
Sama-sama.